Okay, here we go. We are expected to prove that these two colored triangles are congruent. Remember that our last statement should be what we set out to prove. So the last statement will say triangle something is congruent to triangle something. Mark your work, maybe put some arcs in here or highlight some things. Abbreviate as needed. You do not need to use all the rows in the table. And if you need more rows than are there, you can insert some more. Use special characters as needed. Now, I have a couple of givens up here. I think I'm going to start out with that given. In fact, you know what? What would be better? Let's make a plan here. I think I'll mark those givens. So let's mark that let's mark that this let's mark that. Come on, we can do this. Mark that this is congruent to this. That was what we were told in the givens. And one of these days I might succeed in getting those to be the color that I want. In fact, I think let's make it a little more clear. You do not need to be this cautious when you do the work. I'm trying to help you learn. You do not need to be this cautious when you do the work. And let's, so what else? Oh, you know what? Here's what I noticed right away. There is a place. Let's scribble something right in here. There is a place right in here. This angle right here and this angle right in here are congruent to each other. How do we know that? Because of vertical angles. They are vertical. Now, I have a pair of sides and a pair of angles. Okay, so that's looking like it's not going to be side, side, side. It's looking like it's not going to be hypotenuse, leg. Okay, so what do we have left? Angle, angle, side, angle, side, angle, and side, angle, side. Okay, why did they tell us that the two lines are parallel? Because we get all kinds of great things when we have parallel lines cut by a transversal. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recognize that that angle right there where the D is and that angle right there where the B is are congruent to each other because they are alternate interior angles. Angles that are on alternate sides of this transversal but are interior to the parallel lines. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark these two angles as congruent to each other. And it's looking like I have a plan now. Let's start somewhere at an angle or a side and move around the triangle clockwise. Okay. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. All right. Now I know my last reason will be angle, angle, side. And my last statement will be exactly as I read that, C, D, E is congruent to, I'll fill that in a second, CDE is congruent to CBA. I'm just following the pattern around there. All right, let's put my congruent sign in there. Well, that's the easiest place right there is to grab it out of there. And I'm going to use Control-Shift-V rather than Control-V so that I have an unformatted paste. Let's go get an angle sign. I don't see one on the screen here, but I should be able to get one from the special characters menu. There it is. And I'm going to copy it out of there, paste it in here. Let's start lining up some givens. Well, DE is congruent to AB. If that fits in there with those word segments, I'll use it. If it doesn't, I'll abbreviate. And let's use Control-Shift-V so that we paste without formatting. And it still doesn't fit. Well, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to make that smaller. What's my reason? Given. All right, here we go. I started with the segment here. I also need my vertical angles. The instructions give me permission to call that VAT. And what are the vertical angles? DCE. I'm going to repaste this. Seems like a smart thing to do. DCE. Can't we just use those? No, it has to have the vertex in the right place. DCE and BCA. Couldn't I just use CBA? I could. DCA, BCA. And I see a mistake down here. This should be the triangle sign. I'm going to insert the triangle sign, the fake triangle sign, probably a delta, but let's see what happens here. Ah, that's a pretty good triangle sign. Ooh, I love that one. Triangle with rounded corners. White up-pointed triangle. There we go. That's the one I want. Let's use that one, because what we're trying to prove is that two triangles are congruent, not that two angles are, come on, congruent. You can do it. All right, it's too big. Just bump it down a little notch there. Now, what do I have? I have segment, I have angle, and my last angle pair, EDC, ABC. I should be able to copy these. Looks like there might be an extra space in there, which I'm not happy about. Take it out. Will it cost me points? No, it'll cost you karma points. EDC, that's easy. They're on the same row and the same column in the keyboard. EDC, ABC. And what's the reason? Alternate interior angles. All right, I have an extra row. I'll probably move everything up, move the bottom up. So what do I have? Segment, angle, angle. Let's read them around in order. EDC, ABC. That's this. These do not have to be in any particular order. It sure is nice if they are, but they aren't, and it's okay. And I think I've finished what I set out to do, but I think I'm going to go have a look at my instructions since it's only been 8 minutes and I have 20 minutes to do this. Let's go look at our instructions. Mark your work. Well, I marked my work. Vertical angles, yep, vertical angles. Useful pairs in a parallel line system. There's the alternate interior. Abbreviate, yep. Instead, let's fix that. I'll probably have to go back in the other document and fix that. I do not need to use all the rows. There are the rows. Use special characters as needed. Remember that your last statement should be what you set out to prove. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and do a little sanity check here. Do I have 4 reasons? Yep. Do I have 4 statements that go with them? Yep. Are these actual statements? Do they contain a verb? Yep. Well, here's the verb. It says is not equal to. Here's the verb. It says, here's the verb. It says congruent to. The verb, it says congruent to. The verb, it says congruent to. And the verb there, it says congruent to. That also could be an equal sign or is supplementary, which I didn't use in this proof. All right, do I have a reason for each? Yes, I do. Does it make sense? Am I aligning Angles with angles. Yes, angle is congruent to angle. Angle is congruent to angle. Segment is congruent to segment. Triangle is congruent to triangle. What was I supposed to do? Prove that the two colored triangles are congruent. Is this one of the colored triangles? Don't turn it in until you're sure that it's right. Keep checking. Is that one of the colored triangles? CDE. CDE. Yep, it is. Is this one of the colored triangles? CBA. Yes, it is. Did I line the things up so that each piece corresponds? Well, C and C are my two angles that have a single angle congruent mark. D and B are my two angles that have a double congruent mark. And E and A are my two segments. Read it again just to make sure. Let's start here. Angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. Does it say angle, angle, side over here? Yes, it does. Yay! I think we're done.